All right, and we are recording. Welcome to the call, everybody. We're so excited to have you here. Tonight, we get to listen to Beth Phillips talk about our number one product, which is our Lifelong Vitality vitamin supplement pack. I absolutely love these vitamins. They give me more energy and bring down my pain. And so I highly recommend them to all of my customers. If you haven't already oiled up with Intune or Thinker or some kind of patchouli, Beth is like, yeah, let me put some oil on right now. Go ahead and do that because we have a wonderful slide presentation from doTERRA that she's going to walk us through. And as she talks about the lifelong vitality, you're gonna get to feel her passion for this product. I love how she describes some things. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to our lovely Beth Phillips, and you can share screen and get us started, okay?
Good. All right, so what we're gonna be talking about tonight, as you guys know, is this amazing pack right here. This is doTERRA's #1 selling product, even though they are a world-renowned essential oil company. And so it might kind of surprise you to hear that their supplement line is actually the top selling product. But it really has to do with the research and the science and the combination of ingredients that doTERRA has looked into for supporting our bodies in the best way. So I'm going to start loading the PowerPoint because it kind of takes a second. And see. All right, can you guys see that?
I can see that, and I can see you on the right-hand side.
Okay, cool. Very good. I'm gonna get rid of that. Okay. Hold on, I'm trying to move this bar out of the way.
Okay.
Nope. Is it in the middle of your screen? Do you see like the share participants bar? I just don't want it on the recording. No, we're good. You don't see it. Okay, cool. Right on. Okay, so Lifelong Vitality was a project that came together from Rob Young. If you guys are familiar with him, he is one of the founders of doTERRA. And this was kind of his baby. He was approached by doTERRA because he'd been successful in a lot of different businesses he was in. And they said, Rob, we want you to make a phenomenal supplement line. And he was like, I am all over this. It's a dream of mine because of the fact, he's like, I have been picking the brains of the smartest people around me for decades. And if you could create the best supplement line for your family, what would it be? And he literally had this little notebook that he carried with him. And it had all the different ingredients and the combinations and what was important and why and how it had to be delivered into your body for it to be able to be absorbed. And he got the green light from doTERRA. That's one of the things that they're really good about is they go after people and kind of recruit the best in their field. And then they take the handcuffs off and say, you know, budgetary is not a part of research and development. We are not going to say yes or no to ingredients because of the cost. We want what's best for everybody. And so that is where this line came from. And that's where I learned so much about the product. I was fortunate to hear Rob talk about it several times over the years. And I was just astounded at what these are actually doing inside of your body. So people start thinking about supplementation usually a little later in their life. I kind of was always into it. I don't know why, but I've kind of always been into natural things. And the reason people start thinking about them is as you start feeling the effects of aging, or you want to promote a healthier lifestyle, you start thinking about really being conscious of what you're putting on your body and taking into your body. So that's why we're going to talk about these supplements today and what they hold in store for us. So first of all, to kind of take it back a step, before we actually get into all three of the bottles and what's in them, we're going to talk about measuring wellness, because that is something that people are looking to do today. One of the ways they do it is by thinking about how they look and feel. Other people get a more definitive answer through blood work and numbers, and they're looking at things like their cholesterol level and weight. And what they're trying to do is figure out how to maximize and how to make better how they're doing on a day-to-day basis. And so there's so many different elements that play a role in this. It comes from the amount of exercise that we're getting, our diet, our stress levels, the amount of toxins that we're exposed to, and then there's just, how do we feel? Because you can get a quantitative measure on things like blood pressure and your body mass, but you can't really get numbers on your emotional health or your energy levels. So that's something that people want to address and they want to help, but they don't really know how. So this slide here is really, really important. And this is one of my most favorite things that I've ever heard Dr. Hill talk about. And it has to do with your risk factors. What is beyond our control and what is within our control? And it used to be that when you had a family history of something, you were classified as being predisposed to a disease. And it kind of, if diabetes ran in your family, then you just kind of felt like, hey, I'm probably going to get diabetes. And so that would happen with different diseases. And the hard part there and the sad part there is it can kind of make it where you feel like you don't have any control over it, so you don't take preventative measures towards it either. And Dr. Hill is very adamant that DNA plays a role in it, but there's so much we can do to influence our health. And so just because you have a family history of something, just because they say you're predisposed to it, does not mean you have to have it. And that I love so, so much, because it kind of gives you your control back, and it makes it to where, if you feel like it's inevitable, you don't really work that hard against it, right? You feel like, whether I do anything good or not, it's not going to matter. And that's not true. He talks about how in your body, you can be predisposed to something. It can run in your family. So he talks about it like a light switch, like it is in there, and with a poor lifestyle and bad lifestyle choices, you can turn that switch on. So if you know that you are predisposed to diabetes and you don't watch your sugar intake, you're basically flipping that light switch on. But if you know that you have, kind of a predisposition towards it and you take measures against it, you watch your sugar, you're really good about cleansing your body, you've got healthy lifestyle practices, that switch does not have to turn on for you. And one of the ways that we can influence that switch turning on or off has to do with the nutrients that we're taking into our body. It also has to do with our diet, the food that we're eating, our exercise habits, our stress levels, because we know what an impact stress takes on your health, and sleep patterns. So with all of those things together, we start taking back control of what we can control in our body. So what are the obstacles that impede wellness in our modern society? One of the things that you guys are probably familiar with, because it's the world that we live in our society today, it is full of high stress jobs and jam-packed schedules. It doesn't leave a lot of time for you to exercise. The time you did have for exercise, you're usually so tired, all you want to do is sit on the couch and binge Netflix. I know we've all been there. And your sleep's interrupted. So we're not getting the stuff that we need to impact our health in a positive way. We also have endless access to processed foods, and our diet is lacking a lot of the nutrients that we need for good health. So this creates challenges in our health. This slide here is showing the nutrient deficiencies that are showing up in a typical diet, especially an American diet. So that was another neat thing about these supplements when they were created, is they actually have different amounts of ingredients varies by country. Because, a Korean diet is much different than our diet. And, some other countries eat a lot more fish. And so that impacts how much of these ingredients that we're taking in. So this is based off of like a traditional American diet, one that is unfortunately full of highly processed foods. And it shows what percentage of adults 19 and older are deficient in these different areas. You can see there vitamin D and E, highly deficient, right? And then the other ones, you're like borderline halfway deficient in a lot of these nutrients. And so what that does is it impacts your health. So what happens when your daily nutritional requirements aren't met? It starts leading to more serious health concerns. It will either bring on health concerns because as over time is your body's needs aren't met. Our bodies are pretty miraculous in the way that they adapt to what we give them. If you have somebody who's like vegan and they eat a really clean, healthy diet and they go out and have McDonald's, they'll feel absolutely sick afterwards, right? They'll have one meal like that and their body will react to it and not want it in there. But then you can have somebody who eats McDonald's every day of their life and their body's absolutely fine because it has adapted to that. So, it's not fine, but it doesn't react strongly in that way because it's learned that that's what it's getting. So it will deal with what it gets. But as time goes by and you are chronically nutrition deficient, it will start leading to serious health concerns, or it's going to make the existing health conditions that you have get worse. So depending on the type of deficiency that you have, it can lead to fatigue, weaker bones, trouble with cardiovascular health, and other things. So every time you consume the proper amount of vitamins and minerals, it provides specific benefits to your body. So in missing those nutrients, we're really causing an adverse reaction in our body. And so we're just trying to kind of create the foundation and the reason why supplementation is important, because a lot of people, especially if you're younger and you're watching this, you may think, I don't have any health issues yet. And that's great, but let's keep it that way. Let's keep your body in that state. Let's provide it with the nutrients that it's looking for as long as possible, because you don't want to have those more serious health issues. And if you've got serious health issues going on, then let's give your body the fighting power to do what your body can do. Our bodies are pretty amazing in how they can repair. I don't know if you guys have heard, but your liver is actually an organ that can regenerate, which is pretty phenomenal. And if you guys are unmuted right now and we can hear background noise, if you don't mind muting yourself, that helps, just so we can get a clean recording. Thank you. So as you're thinking about what could be, think about your nutrition, think about how you're feeling, and then what can we do with supplementation? It's going to help promote overall wellness. It's going to help make up for nutritional deficiencies, and it's going to help with the aging process, which is something that I think all of us are very interested in. So you can see how through our lives today, many people aren't receiving the nutrition their body needs through food alone. In previous generations, their food contained much more nutrition, vitamins, and minerals than it does today, unfortunately. That just has to do with farming practices of today. The soil doesn't contain the nutrients like it used to, which used to get put into the food. The food, the way it is transferred cross-country and across the globe, also loses its nutrition. It's not like it's farm to table anymore. So where, you could get a lot of your nutrition from your food back when our great grandparents were kids, that's not the way it is for us anymore today. And then add on top of that, the amount of stress, the lack of exercise that we're getting, and you can see why, it needs to happen. Supplementation is really something you can't get around anymore. Unfortunately, even if you are, really good, clean, raw eater, vegan eater in that way, it's just that the food that you're starting out with, they say that the spinach today contains about 10 to 12% of the iron that it used to contain. So that's one example. It's the same thing with the carrots and beta carotene. The same thing with everything. The way we used to get nutrition from vegetables and fruits just doesn't contain it today. So in working on cultivating a healthy lifestyle, we're not saying just take the supplements and continue doing what you're doing and you'll be miraculously healed. It does take into consideration other things. Obviously, food is a foundation. Upping your exercise, and it does not need to be strenuous exercise. It can be walking, swimming, anything, just getting out and moving. And then daily healthy habits, trying to reduce the toxic load of stuff that you're putting on your skin, and healthy supplementation, which is the lifelong vitality, which we're going to talk about right now. So this set here of these three, it was designed to promote health, energy, and longevity. And so the tagline on the box, I don't know if you guys have ever noticed it before, but it is to help you feel and live younger, longer. And so that is the goal of these three together, and really what we all want. You want to look and feel as young as you possibly can for as long as you possibly can. And that is what happens when your body is being fed on a cellular level. And that's why these are so effective. So some of the benefits of lifelong vitality are antioxidant support. Cellular health plays a major role in a healthy life. Our cells get damaged all the time. And a lot of times it happens from molecules that are known as free radicals. And you're going to hear this term again because there's a couple slides down, where we're really going to dive more into free radicals. And I know it's kind of sciencey, but it's important to know because it's a term that you're going to hear and it has a major impact on your health. And once you understand what they are, and what the lifelong vitality does to fight it, it makes you more aware and it makes you better at being consistent about taking these. Free radicals have the potential to damage healthy functioning cells. And you'll see clearer on the slide in a little bit. But so free radicals they typically happen throughout the day. They happen to our body. It's a byproduct of breathing. It's a byproduct of eating. It comes from pollution, sun exposure, smoking, and radiation, cell phones, all of that. So what free radicals do are they're a normal part of life, but they're like rust on a car. So they're like rust on your cells, and they speed up the aging process, which is not anything that we want, right? We don't want our cells breaking down any faster than they have to. But the cool part about that is we can actually slow down this process. So if you think about it, our bodies are fighting free radicals every single day. And we could either do nothing and leave our body to fight for itself, and that's going to leave your body depleted and tired, or we can give our body ammunition to fight back. And this is where, when it comes down to when people ask like, well, how much is the lifelong vitality? This is an investment in your health. This is what is going to help you live a better quality life. So, we budget this into our month like our food. I try to buy organic food. I try to buy as many vegetables as possible, and that costs money. And the lifelong vitality is put into our budget just like our grocery bill. Because I know at the end of the day that we're getting more nutrition from this box than a lot of the food that I'm buying at the store. So when we're talking about free radicals, they're roaming around inside your body, and there are pieces of the lifelong vitality inside the alpha CRS that really help fight free radicals. They're antioxidants. Hang on one second. I heard somebody is going to mute them if I can. You might have to mute on your end, Mapu. I don't think I can.
All right, I did it.
Okay. One of the things that is really powerful against antioxidants are polyphenols. So where you've probably heard of polyphenols is inside of our deep blue polyphenol complex. That's a complex full of rich polyphenols. That's why it's so good for inflammation. But there are also polyphenols inside of the alpha CRS, and they're helping fight against free radical damage. The next piece here that it talks about being one of the benefits is in immune support. So obviously without a strong immune system, it's hard to maintain good health. And when you've got poor sleep, poor nutrition, high stress, this is adding to a weakened immune system. So the pieces of the Lifelong Vitality are going to help support your immune system in a positive way. Another thing that I want to be clear on with the oils and with the supplements, when we talk about immune support, and I was just with Dr. Hill like 2 weeks ago, and he wanted to bring this part out again very adamantly. We talk a lot, when you hear wellness advocates talk about the oils and the supplements, we talk about it boosting your immune system. If you talk to somebody who's got an autoimmune, that's going to make them nervous because usually they're on immune suppressors because they need to calm their immune system down. So the correct terminology isn't really that it boosts your immune system, is it balances your immune system. And that's the way all the oils work. When you think of like digestion and the fact that you can use it for diarrhea or constipation because it's balancing your system. It's the same with these. It's not going to, if you have an autoimmune, it's not going to boost your immune system high so it starts attacking itself more. It's going to bring it into balance the way it's supposed to be. The oils and the supplements help your body remember how it's supposed to function. So just want to be clear on that so you don't get nervous if you're dealing with anything autoimmune based. It's not going to make it worse. It's going to actually help balance it out. And the other piece that I think is probably one of my favorite parts of the Lifelong Vitality is the energy support. So there's a lot of factors that influence our energy levels, but most of it starts within ourselves. So a lot of us blame our lack of energy or vitality on getting old, but it is possible to help our cells produce the chemical energy to help keep your energy levels higher. So we're going to get into a little bit of 5th grade science, and I know it's 5th grade because my 11-year-old's doing it right now in science, and we're going to talk about cells just for a second. So I promise you learned about this in school. You might not remember, but hopefully as I'm talking about it, it will bring it back to your memory. So all energy is produced inside of your cell in a structure called mitochondria. Mitochondria combines oxygen and food molecules, and it produces your energy inside your body. But as we get older, we usually experience a decline in the number of mitochondria that are in our cells, which means we have less energy. What this combination of constituents inside of the alpha CRS are able to do is they go and protect our mitochondria and our cells, and they encourage your mitochondria to reproduce. So where you're getting energy from is your body reproducing it naturally. It's not a stimulant, it's not sugar, it's not caffeine. So you don't have like that rush and then the crash afterwards. It is just good sustained energy because it's helping your body do what it's supposed to do naturally. And then nutritional support. So we talked about what happens when you don't have the proper nutrients in your body. So that's why we have the whole food-based multivitamin that's going to help supply your body with the A, C, and E, your Bs, your D3, all the things that your body needs to function at its best. So price comparison. Our Lifelong Vitality pack, when you buy it all together, it is discounted. If you buy the bottles separately, it's a little more expensive, but if you buy them together, they've discounted the pack because they really want everybody taking them every single day. So it's $79.50 for a month's supply. They have gone out to like GNC and priced out all the ingredients individually. You've got milk thistle, coenzyme Q10, quercetin, resveratrol, and all the different pieces in there. And it's easily $200 to $300 to buy all the bottles of stuff that is contained inside of the Lifelong Vitality. So as value goes, they're not that expensive, you know, and typically we tell people like a true full dose of the Lifelong Vitality is 4 sets a day. That's 4 of each of the capsules inside the bottles. Typically, if somebody's in good health, can get by with about 2 sets a day. If you take a set with breakfast and a set with lunch and you find you're still tired in the afternoon, a lot of people add a 3rd set. That's what I usually do. I usually take about 3 sets a day. So I take it with breakfast, lunch, and I take it at about 2 or 3 o'clock when you start getting that tired feeling where you need some kind of a boost. But if you've got something going on in your body, then you really do need the 4 sets a day. So if you're fighting something, if you've got a chronic thing going on, if you need that extra support, the true dose is 4 sets a day. So the cost per day is not that high for the amount of benefit that you're going to see inside your body. So the first one we're going to talk about is alpha CRS. And just easily, first off the bat, what does alpha CRS stand for? So alpha means first, CRS stands for cellular renewal system, and then the plus was added when they reformulated it a few years ago just to let us know that it was different. So that is alpha CRS. This is your cellular vitality complex. This is the one that helps with the free radicals, which we're going to talk about right here. Okay, so now you can see on the slide what a free radical looks like. So these are present, as we talked about, inside through different means. It comes as a byproduct of exercise, it comes from breathing, it comes from our food, it comes from the air we breathe. And what a free radical is, you can see here in the picture how it's missing one of its electrons. Do you guys see that? On that pink outer ring, it's missing an electron. That's what a free radical is. So what they do is they go around to your healthy cells and they steal an electron. And then it makes your healthy cell imbalanced. So those little buggers go around and, think about it, depends on how many of them do you have in your body. Well, what are you doing? What is your daily lifestyle like? Depending on the quality of the air you're breathing, your food you're eating, how much you're exercising, depends on how many of those you have. So if you have a lot of them roaming around, they're constantly running around and stealing that electron from your healthy cell. So when it does that, it damages and can even destroy a healthy cell, which speeds up the aging process. And they're unstable molecules, so you don't want them in your body. Antioxidants help protect cellular DNA and other cell structures from damage, which helps promote healthy aging in the way that we're supposed to age. So that's why these antioxidants are so important. Not only do they help fight free radicals, but they're also helping the heart. They help your cardiovascular system, your brain, and your nervous system to function properly. So antioxidants, that's why they're talked about so much. They really are a necessity in your body to give it the tools to fight back against these free radicals. So these are some of the ingredients in the alpha CRS. Some of the things you're probably familiar with, resveratrol, turmeric, pomegranate, milk thistle being really good for your organs. And so a lot of these there's even more than this that is inside the alpha CRS, but what's cool about these, and we learned this from a chiropractor that practices out of Glendale. He grew up highly into learning about Chinese medicine from his family. And he was really impressed with this supplement line, because he said, just because something's good for you doesn't mean it's easy for your body to absorb. And so he was really interested and impressed in how doTERRA has combined the ingredients in the way that they are, because one thing may do something that's good for your body, but it might be kind of hard on your liver, or it might be kind of hard on this or that, but they've balanced it out with the other ingredients that are in here. That's why I love this pack so much, because we can hear about, you know, oh, I should be taking ginkgo, I should be taking this. And then you go to a health food store and you see this wall of vitamins and you don't know where to start. And then how much do you take? And then what if you take too much? So that's all been done for us. It's all combined, it's all together. So you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to be the chemist trying to figure out the proper proportions. It's all already in there. So the benefits of the alpha-CRS, like we talked about, it's helping support healthy cell function by protecting your cellular DNA. Does that sound like something that's important? Right? Like this is good to think about. If you're taking it 2, 3, 4 times a day, what you're doing for your body. This is huge. It helps promote cellular energy by supporting healthy mitochondria. That's where you're getting your energy from. And it's going to help support healthy cellular immune function. So again, reminding your immune system and your cells how they're supposed to function. And then it's going to support mental clarity and brain function. That's another benefit that a lot of people notice when they start taking this, is it kind of helps with that sluggish brain fog feeling. And it just has to do with like your body's finally getting the nutrition that it's looking for. Also has to do with the fatty acids, which we're going to talk about next. So the next part of the lifelong vitality is the XC omega. The X stands for astaxanthin, which is a really cool ingredient. It comes from microalgae. So this algae is something that they have figured out. This algae on its own, when sun hits it, it produces its own sunscreen. And it's where the red comes from in our XC omega. If you're taking it and you notice the capsules are red, that is the astaxanthin. It's a green algae that once the sun hits it turns red. So that is what we're getting inside our body. Think of like how, you know, healthy that sunscreen is for that microalgae. It's like protecting the inside of our body from damage. The EO stands for the essential oils that are part of this blend, which serve a really important purpose. And then the mega represents the omega benefits that are provided by this complex. So when you're talking about omegas, a lot of people have heard, you know, we need to take omegas, it's good for our diet. And they are. They're a fatty acid source. So some fatty acids are naturally produced inside the body, but essential fatty acids cannot be produced within the body. They have to be obtained through our diet. And there are several types of essential fatty acids. The most common ones that you've probably heard of are omega-6 and omega-3. And although it's possible to provide the body with essential fatty acids through the food we eat, our modern diet typically contains way too much omega-6. What that does, omega-6 causes an inflammatory response in your body. Omega-3s take down inflammation. They should be in your body in a 1-to-1 ratio, 1 omega-3 for every omega-6. But what they've studied in a typical American diet has to do with a lot of our fast food and processed foods. We have 1 omega-3 for every 15 omega-6s. And that's why inflammation is so high. And inflammation is the #1 cause of disease in the body. Chronic inflammation. Think about autoimmune, all the arthritises. It comes from chronic inflammation in the body. And when you're getting down to the root, it has to do with our food. And so to start out with, your body is fighting 15 times the amount of inflammation on a daily basis than it should be dealing with. So in order to help fight back with that, we need to increase our dietary intake of omega-3 fatty acids. The benefits of doing that are, you know, better cardiovascular health, better brain function. That's what's helping with that brain fog, is getting that good fat in for your brain. You know why, you know, they say eating avocados is so good, because it provides your body with that good healthy fat. And when people go on too much of a fat-free diet, they can feel kind of ditzy and kind of woozy, because your body does need a certain amount of fat. And so that is where this good healthy fat is coming from. It's going to help with your immune function and joint health and mobility. So think of like achy, sore joints and your skin. So in order to try to balance this amount between the 3s and the 6s, we have to increase the 3s. The 3s typically come from fatty fish, olive oil, nuts, and seeds. And the XC Omega, the way that they have gotten their omega-3s, it comes from a really clean blend of marine and land-sourced fatty acids and other plant-based ingredients. And so you're getting like a good clean source of omega-3s, which is going to help start balancing that ratio in your body. So they also have a vegan formula, which we'll talk about in just a second. But we talked about that some fatty acids are produced naturally inside the body, others have to come from diet. It would be nice if we could get it all from our diet, but unfortunately, like a lot of us used to get omegas from fish. You know, you'd eat some good fish and that would help bring the omega count up in your body, but unfortunately, daily fish consumption for us isn't really recommended anymore just because of the amount of heavy metals that are now found in the seafood and the ocean. So that is why there really started to be a decline in the omegas as well, is because we couldn't get it from that nice source like we used to. So because of that, we've got to supplement. So that's where this blend comes into play. So this is just a snapshot, again, of benefits that come from having a healthy omega levels in your body. Heart and circulatory health, healthy joints, the function of your brains and your brain and your eyes. And the neat thing about here is the blend of oils that they have inside of there. So inside of this blend, not only does it have the omegas, but it has essential oils that are put in there for a specific purpose. So let me see, I'm trying to see if it's on this slide or if it's on a future slide. I'll say it now just in case, but it might be on a future slide. But omegas on their own start to oxidize very quickly, which means they go rancid. And what they've done is by putting the certified pure therapeutic grade essential oils in there, like frankincense and thyme and clove, they act as a natural preservative for the omegas, which is really cool. So, you know, a lot of times you can take fish oils and you burp up and you have like that nasty fish taste. That has to do with the fact those are probably rancid, honestly. So that's why they have like a more stable shelf life. You don't have to refrigerate them because it has essential oils in there that act as a natural preservative, which is really cool. So they also do have a vegan version. So in the regular version, the omegas are coming from marine life and plants. In the vegan version, it's just plants. So whatever one fits your lifestyle, they have both of those available. The next one is the Microplex VMZ. So Microplex is a combination of your micronutrients and it's complex. The VM stands for vitamins and minerals, and then the Z was added when they made improvements to the original round of these. So this is your whole food-based multivitamin. So what it's going to do is help provide essential vitamins and minerals to help your body function in a healthy manner. So in addition to antioxidants and the fatty acids that we talked about, our bodies also need essential vitamins and minerals to help all systems of your body to function in a healthy way. And vitamins and minerals cannot be produced in the body in sufficient quantities. So your body can't produce these on its own. It has to rely on our diet to supplement it. But like we talked about, our diet doesn't contain this any longer. So you have to be supplementing. So a lot of times people will, you know, get a good quality multivitamin from the health food store. I know I did, you know, before doTERRA. I would shop at the good health food stores in our town. I would change up, you know, different ones, trying to feel a difference, and I'd spend a lot of money on them. And a lot of times you end up peeing out a bunch of yellow. I don't know if you guys have experienced that, but I didn't know why until I started using these, and that stopped happening. And then I started asking, and what was happening is those other supplements, a lot of what's in them is synthetic sources of those minerals. And when you take something synthetic into your body, it can only absorb a fraction of it. They guess around, you know, between like 10 and 17% or something. So, you know, they may be putting thousands and thousands of units of something in there, but realistically you're only getting a fraction of that. Most of that is being excreted because your body can't totally absorb it. It doesn't quite know what to do with it. It kind of guesses at what it is, but it's not, it's synthetic, it's man-made. Your body doesn't really know what it is. So because the food sources of this come from food, let me get the bottle out, hang on. So you're talking like kale, dandelion, parsley, kelp, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, spinach, like it's coming from that source. So your body's like, oh, I know what that is. And it can absorb and utilize those nutrients. And so it's going to help supplement what we're not getting from our food. So it's a balanced blend of essential vitamins and minerals. And like I mentioned before, what they did was study the traditional American diet and find out where we're lacking. We went to a full seminar on these a few years ago, and there was a Dr. Karsten Schmidt there who talked to us, and he was part of the one who revamped these when they came out again a couple years ago. And they talked about how, I don't know if you guys remember, like, you know, supplements came out and then everybody started supplementing and they started coming out with those packs. Like there would be a pack of all, you know, 12 different pills in there, but that was too much for your body. So he wanted to go through and say, okay, for a traditional American diet, where is it lacking and how can we bring that into balance? And so that's how these were created. So it's going to supplement for us and what we eat. In Korea, it's going to help supplement them, and they have a completely different diet than us. It's going to help supplement them and what they're lacking and what nutrients they need to bring it up to normal. So that's why these are so effective. And the nice thing about it, it has essential oils in there of peppermint, ginger, and fennel, and you'll see it on the bottle labeled as the Tummy Tamer blend. So what a lot of people experience when they're taking even all three of these, because a lot of people, you know, in the beginning will be like, 3 pills, you know, like pills make me sick or they upset my stomach. Because they've got these essential oils added in there, it does calm your stomach. So take them with food is always the best idea, but they don't typically upset most people's stomach unless you have like, you know, sensitive stomach already. But that's really nice because I remember from taking like prenatal vitamins before, like, oh, you take them and those made you sicker almost more than the morning sickness. They were so bad, but these don't have that effect at all. So these are some of the benefits of the Microplex. It's going to be providing your body with 22 essential vitamins and minerals. It's helping, again, fight free radicals. It's going to help support healthy metabolism. So something a lot of people notice when they start taking a lifelong vitality is they do drop a little bit of weight. Not a ton, it's not a weight loss product, but what it's doing is helping support healthy metabolism. So your body starts functioning better. It starts running at a higher level and you have more energy. So you're probably moving around more just because of the fact you have more energy. It's going to help support your bone health. It has calcium, magnesium, zinc, and vitamin D, digestion, immune function. And the cool thing about it, what it talks about there at the bottom is it includes a patented glycoprotein matrix for enhanced bioavailability. And the best way I can try to explain that is they have combined them in the best way that your body can absorb them. That's what that means. I remember reading about it, and at the time I understood it a little bit more than I remember right now. But it's just the process they go through of combining the ingredients in there so that your body can absorb them as easily as possible and get the most nutrition out of it as possible. So it's patented by doTERRA, and it's really cool the way that they've, again, not only brought us good ingredients, but good ingredients are only as good as your body can absorb. And so being able to absorb the good ingredients is why these bottles get more people off of medications than anything else, because you're really now feeding your body and you're actually being able to see what your body could do on its own if it was feeling better, if it had more energy, if it wasn't so full of inflammation, and you get to kind of see what your body's able to do. So they also do have a vegan version of the Microplex if you're a vegan. So you can get a vegan omega and a vegan Microplex. So incorporating lifelong vitality into your daily life. This is just a way to get all the nutrients that your body needs to slow down the aging process of your cells. And when you combine it with healthy eating and exercise and being able to reduce stress through the essential oils and reduce toxins by cleaning out the things that we're cleaning our home with and putting in our hair and the lotion we're putting on our body, you can like majorly overhaul your daily life by being proactive in your medical care. This is really what this is. It's just kind of taking your health by the horns and being like, you know, I'm gonna be my biggest advocate because nobody else is gonna do it for me. And so I'm important. I'm gonna invest in myself and my health. And if you buy them, then just make sure that you take them every day. Consistency is key, just like with the oils. So we've got some usage tips here we talked about before. So typical, the full dose is 4 of each per day. You're not gonna go wrong with that. If you are in, you know, fairly good health and you take 2 sets and you've got enough energy to get through the day, great. We have a lot of people like that. So they'll split the month's supply with their husband and it lasts both of you a month. Or if they're on 2 sets, it will last them 2 months. If you find, you know, you're still getting tired in the afternoon, add in that 3rd set. If you are dealing with anything in your health where your body's kind of compromised, take all 4, because that is what your body is going to be needing. So storage of these, keep them obviously out of the sun. Children have their own version. There is a chewable multivitamin and a liquid omega. That is also an option for people who can't swallow pills. So if you're listening to this going, oh my gosh, I really want to take them, but I can't swallow pills, you've got the chewable version with the liquid. Another thing that I heard Dr. Stoyer say, he's an endodontist that uses doTERRA, is for when he has people that can't swallow pills, he tells them to throw it in their smoothie in the morning in the blender and just blend them up in there. So that's an option as well. And of course, always consult with your medical professional when you're adding something to your regimen, just to make sure that you're not going to get too much of something if you're already on something. But these, I have the personal testimony of my parents. My parents have been on the supplements for as long as, here, I'm gonna go back, stop sharing. Okay, hang on, start my video. Okay, so my parents have been on the supplements for 6 years, and you know, they are getting older, of course, but I see in them just, you know, what it's done for them. And I'm so grateful that they've had access to this, because I don't know where their health would be had they not. And so it's just really important for, at any stage in your life, if you're young and you don't have problems, great, let's maintain that for as long as possible. If your health is in a place where you're struggling, then let's give your body the tools so your body can try to turn itself around. So really, our son, he is 11. He's been on them since he was about 6. He could kind of swallow pills at a freakishly young age. I'm not recommending this for people, but if you know our story with our son, he was born with a weak immune system. He was allergic to gluten and dairy. He got sick all the time. It would turn into asthma. He was like chronically sick. And so my husband actually started him on these, because, you know, as the mom, we're like horrified. My husband's like, he can do it. And so he had him start taking them. And now again, he's been on them 6 years, because that's how long we've been doing doTERRA. And I see him now, and I can only imagine where he would be if he was as sick as he was, doing rounds of antibiotics, on inhalers for the asthma. Like, the change in his life of being able to stop that process and being able to support his body. Like, now he eats, I mean, like a cruddy diet like most kids, unfortunately, but he eats gluten, he eats dairy, he eats the school lunches sometimes. and he doesn't have horrible stomach aches, and he's not crippled over in pain, and he doesn't get sick all the time. Now he's one of the healthiest in his class, and he's strong. If you see this, like, he's up here chopping wood. That's like one of his favorite things to do since we moved up here. But I know from my medical background, I worked in a hospital for 6 years, and I know the toll it would have taken on his body if we didn't have these. If this wasn't an option and we were stuck with what they could give us in the form of, you know, inhalers and steroids and all that stuff, it would have broken his body down instead of him getting stronger. And so that's with all of us, no matter what age you are. Let's build our bodies up and give them the tools. And we're really fortunate that we have such a good company that really has our best interests at heart and wants what's best for us. There's not going to be a one size fits all with anything. You know, so there are going to be people that can't take these. You know, there are going to be people that it doesn't work for, but that's with everything now. I mean, there's people who can't eat strawberries. There's people who can't eat peanuts. Doesn't mean there's something wrong with strawberries, right? There's just, our bodies are in a fashion now that they react to things that they used to not. So can't blanketly say they're great for everybody, but for the majority of the people, this is one of the best things you can do for yourself. And they do come with a 30-day money back guarantee. So I just tell people, just try them. Like, why not? See how you feel at the end of the 30 days. Do you have more energy and less inflammation in your body? And if you do, then continue taking them, because the longer you take them, the deeper that they can work and the more benefit that they can hold for your body. And just be consistent about them. One of the things Ryan started doing that was really helpful is he got one of the small mini Altoids tins, and he dumped the mints out, and he put his supply for the day in there, and he'd stick it in his pocket. It wasn't that big, it fit in his jean pocket, and he would take that. That way he could take them during the day at work. Because he had really bad stomach issues, if you guys know his story. So keep them accessible, keep them usable. One of the things that we have in our home, and a lot of people have them, we got one of those tea holders from Target that has like the different slots and just a lid. That way I'm not screwing and unscrewing the bottle 3 times a day. So we just dump them all in there, and then it's just an easy, you flip the lid open, grab what you need, and go. So anything you can do to make it easy and accessible, keep them down where you're going to remember to use them, maybe down by your coffee pot or wherever you go to every morning that you won't forget, so that you will remember to take them every day, and so that you can see the difference that it can hold for your body. Do you guys have any questions?
That was awesome, Beth. Thank you so much for sharing all that information with us. Do you want me to stop recording now, or you want to record some of the questions?
We can probably stop recording.
Okay, so
the recording's not too long.
That, and then we could open it up for questions.
Where did the time go?
Mute yourself.
It's like yesterday.